Oh, hey, look. It's a box. It's also a box which is labeled this side up, fragile, do not stack. Interesting. Now, I've already got this box cut open with label removed thanks to lovely box cutter. Although in this case I wasn't really cutting the box, just the tape of the box. But it functions good for that purpose as well. So what do we have in here? Oh wow, so the first thing is a manual. I actually didn't know this came with a manual. If I had known this came with a manual, I wouldn't have ordered another manual. Look at that. Isn't that nice? So now I have... Don't I have another manual underneath this? Yes, I do. Look at that. Another manual for the same vacuum. And you've never seen this vacuum cleaner before on my channel. So, that looks like the handle. Now you might be thinking, hey, you already own a Fantom Fury. So why would you buy another one? Well, the answer's quite simple, actually. This is the one I actually wanted in terms of my recent Fantom Fury purchase. Reason being that this one has all the attachments. This one does not. And as you can probably tell, this one has a broken lower cord hook, which the seller did not disclose. So, this is the one that I actually wanted to get, but at the time, it was not listed. It was one where it had previously ended with no bids, so did not sell at all, and despite that, it was not relisted. So, I just went ahead and got this one, or I should say my fiance got this one, because I wanted this Fury as a Christmas present, because my other Christmas present, which I bought myself, was a ThinkPad, and that ended up being defective. So the keyboard was bad, and the motherboard was actually going dead in it, and the hard drive was also had a cracked copy of Windows on it, which that's not too big of a deal, but obviously it kind of proves the seller's not really the most honest. So a lot of nice packing materials. Here is, and that's the wand, obviously. This is really dusty. You'd think they would clean that. It does have the dusting brush. It's supposed to have all the attachments. But it is packed rather nicely. And the interesting thing is that both of these Fantoms, both of these Furies, have two things in common. Well, I guess three things, and the third thing being that I just bought both of them. And that they're the same generic, like, green 12-volt model, the most common Fury that was ever on the market. So, that thing that is the same between them is that in both cases, they both shipped from Illinois, which is my home state. So they both did not travel out of state. They both have stayed in this state and just simply now belong to me. And the other thing is that both of the listings, and I'm pretty sure they were separate sellers because they looked like separate listings. Or I should say like listings from separate people. I didn't look all that closely, but I'm pretty sure they were separate sellers. They both misspelled the vacuum. They both listed it as Fantom Fury. So like F-A-M-T-O-M. So two M's instead of an N and an M for the product name. Which is definitely funny. We can see this one has a hose extension at the bottom of it as well. So, no one else thankfully bid on this. For the, like, 5th time in a row this thing has been listed. So this thing was listed for a while, and I finally decided to bite the bullet and grab it. Oh, and I just dropped my hat in the box. So, here's a hose extension. Again, a little bit dusty, but that's no big deal. I already do have one of these. Now you might be thinking, so, wait a minute, you already have 3 Furies. Like, and now you have 5 Furies. They're like, you know, and this is your third, you know, standard green 12 amp Fury. Why did you buy all these? Well, the answer is honestly because I just like to vacuum that much. And I've actually been using this, like, as a legitimate vacuum, like vacuuming my living room and everything. And all things considered, its performance has been pretty good, and I've been pretty happy with it. So, I want to get another one. Because the Fury is one of those vacuums that I do occasionally want to use to clean my house. I know that's blasphemy, because these things are collectible. But this is the most common Fury, so if there was one to use it with, it would be this one. Because it's the one that's the most easily attainable. I've also noticed that there are several different versions of the Fury, and yes, this does have the lower cord clip. It also needs a cleaning. But this one appears to be the exact same variant as this one. Although both of these are a little bit different than my other green 12 amp. In fact, they're different as each other because, I just realized, because this one has a reset button. And this one has no fluff trap, it just has the plug up here. This one, if you can see this one does not have a reset button. And it also does not have the little green fluff trap, like the pull-out fluff trap. It just has the plug up here. But then my other 12 amp Fury, the one that I first got, the other green 12 amp, it has a little green thing that's right here that pulls out. And I believe my orange one is the same way. I believe it has that little plug that pulls out, the little slidey plug that pulls out. So these actually are all different versions. Okay, is that dust or is that scratches? I think that's just dust. So I don't know if this is dusty because the guy packed it up when he listed it initially and just never touched it until he finally shipped it, or if he actually didn't clean the thing. Now I remember I was looking at this listing a while ago, and one of the people watching my stream said that looks like someone vacuumed up puke with it, which I hope isn't the case. The hose appears to be in good shape. I would hope this is in good shape considering the hook is good, because the hook is always what breaks off before anything else. So let's see, how good of a condition is this in? Well, that doesn't look right. I can tell you that right off the bat. That is not proper. But this bumper's on all the way. There's very few scratches on this. I mean, I see a lot of dust and dirt, but it doesn't look like it's that bad condition-wise. This one obviously is a lot worse, but this one was also cheaper. Oh yeah, so price. So this this came from Darien, Illinois, which is like, I think it's like 10 or 15 minutes, give or take, outside of Chicago. Now that's obviously northern Illinois. I'm in central Illinois, so that's a 3-hour drive if I wanted to go pick this up. And I believe about a 2.5-hour drive if I wanted to go pick this one up, which also was in Illinois, but it was in some other place. So this definitely, you know, the $40 that I paid for shipping on this definitely would have been preferred, because I would have basically spent about, you know, $35, $40 in gas trying to drive up there to pick it up anyways. So it just, you know, it was far enough away that the shipping was justified. There's a little bit of dust in there. They didn't really empty that out, did they? And some dust over here. Again, pretty dusty, but not. Again, this is what kind of concerns me, because that's not on correctly. It's supposed to look like that. So did this just like get flipped down? I think, okay, I think this just got, like, flipped inside out. So I'll have to look at that and see what I can do to fix that before I run this thing. Or, I mean, should it run fine with that messed up? That I don't think that's, because that's just going to the inner cyclone, but wouldn't that let dust escape and get into the motor? I don't know. But yeah, this isn't even on correctly. Like, that's not even lined up. So something is wrong here. I'm going to have to investigate. Like, this filter cage, like, there's not a lot of scratches. At least not any that show through the dirt. Oh, there's some dirt right here. This has the same HEPA filter as the other one. It's the newer HEPA filter that's the same color style as the Crosswind. Oops. So there's a lot of dust on the inside. There's obviously... Oh, and there's hair on the inside of this. Oh, that's not good. It looks like they ran it without this with that broken or that messed up for a long time. And it looks like hair has actually gotten into the motor. That's a shame, because this is actually in really nice condition, and I don't really want to take this apart and risk breaking it, but I think it should be okay if I rip this thing apart. I don't think I have too much to worry about. Everyone always is freaked out over taking these apart. But honestly, I would much rather work on one of these than an early Dyson, because that gray plastic gets very brittle. This plastic still feels, you know, decently sturdy for what it is. So I don't think that should be that big of a deal. But obviously that's a problem. So, but it has all the attachments. Look at that. Dusting brush, which isn't fitting on the peg for some reason. And the extension hose. So that's nice. Cord is nicely bound up. Crevice tool, floor nozzle. How's the floor nozzle? Again, very dusty. But nothing a quick clean can't cure. There's a lot of dust on this, but hopefully it'll be alright. And let's get this off the cord. So this actually does have a reset button, which is interesting because this other Fantom, I was using it to clean, and at one point it just randomly shut off. Like, no reason. Like, it didn't, I don't know what I did, but it wasn't plugged or nothing, it wasn't clogged. It just shut down, as if I had pulled the plug on it. And there was no reset button, which I'll push this just in case. Well, okay, maybe not. So there's no reset button, so I just went ahead and let it just sit for a half hour, and then I came back and turned it on, and it was fine. So I don't know what was up with that. So there's the wand. This one also has the cord clip, which the other one has too, so that's nice. I have a couple of these cord clips. Button seems okay. Wand seems alright. Nothing too out of the ordinary with that. So again, I'll clean all this up later, but for now we'll just put this together. Sorry for the weird camera angle. And slide the wand down into the hose and into the top of the machine. Turn that upright. So that looks a bit weird. The way that looks. Oh well. So this also, I'm pretty sure, last time I looked at the listing, it also said included an extra HEPA filter, which is good because the one that it came with is a little bit squirrely, and it looks like that's what it did. Make sure there's no address on this. Yeah. Ooh, this is nifty. So, does this show any personal information? It does not. It looks like he pulled that off. So look at that. Wow. Label 107R, October 1997. True HEPA replacement filter for Fantom Fury vacuum cleaner. Wow, assembled in Mexico. Wow. That is nice. So let's see. It's not sealed, so... Okay, that's the HEPA filter he was referring to. Is that a Fantom? That looks like a... That doesn't even look like HEPA. That looks like a charcoal filter. Oh, I just dropped it. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is HEPA. So it looks like there's like this extra little filter on the inside, which I've never seen before. There is some tearing right there. And it's missing the little hook thing that you're supposed to use to be able to pull it out of the vacuum, but that's no big deal. You can see right there. Fantom True HEPA Replacement Filter. It's maximum efficiency, so it's kind of like a Mima filter from a Dyson, but not quite, obviously, because it's HEPA. XFH1510 for Fantom Fury. Isn't that nice? So, this is a slightly later filter because this was after they were branded as FAR Technologies, or FAR Filtration, I think it was called, something like that. FARR, FAR. And, so this is, the weird thing is, it's dated 97, but I'm pretty sure this machine is not from 97, because if this was from 97, it would have been a 10 amp, I'm pretty sure. Because the 90s, the like late 96, early, were Furies made in 96? I think it was revealed in 96, but I don't know if it was actually manufactured in 96. Phantom collectors can correct me on that. But I know the ones made in 97 are 10 amp, and I know the ones made in 99 and 2000 are 12 amp. I don't know if the 98 ones are. Maybe that's when they switched over at some point. So maybe some of them are 10, maybe some of them are 12. Let's see, when was this thing made? I'm going to guess probably 2000 maybe? Oh no, 98. Wow, okay. So the 29th week of 1998. Wow, okay. So this is one of the first 12 amp Furies, when they had just introduced the 12 amp motor. Wow. So that's nice. So this actually is a slightly different Fury, so I can kind of justify having this if I wanted to have every version of the Fury. Because, I mean, that would mean that I have every version of the original Fury. Is that correct? Meaning, like, the one with the standard headlight, not the wide headlight. So, because I have the 10 amp, which I've decided that I'm not selling. I have the 10 amp. I have this original 12 amp. And then I have this slightly later 12 amp. And then I have, so I basically have this one from 98, the other one from 97, and then the 3 from 2000. So, and then, you know, and then this one, my other green 12 amp, the one I first got, and the orange one are all from 2000. And I don't remember the exact dates off the top of my head, so they may be kind of switched around as far as which one came when. But yeah, so this is really interesting. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to clean up all this packaging. I'm going to give this thing a quick clean. I'm going to see if I can't fix that little issue with the bin. And then afterwards, if I can get that little issue with the bin fixed, we're going to give this a run. And if not, then I'll just, you know, show it cleaned up and give my final little conclusion to this video. Alright, so I pulled this thing apart, and a lot of dust everywhere. But I pulled off the little fluff trap and cleaned that just with some solution and a towel, just jamming a screwdriver in each of these little holes, getting them clean. And that's what a Fantom Fury looks like without the face attached. So you can see there's the power switch right there. I retorqued these screws. I pulled out this little metal grate and cleaned it because it was clogged with some debris that was like really stuck in these little grates. So at first I put the cyclone piece back on before I realized I forgot this little grate piece. So if you're following along and doing this to your Fantom, make sure to not forget to put this little metal grate back in. So here's the cyclone assembly. Now you can remove this screw, but I removed this screw and like one side of this felt, you know, like it was able to pull out, but it felt like one side was still firm, and I tried to twist it and it didn't feel like it would twist, so I didn't want to force it because I didn't want to break it. But perhaps there's another way to pull this out away from this, or maybe there isn't, and maybe this screw is just for show. But still kind of thrown off by this gasket, because this clearly is not the right kind of gasket. I could have sworn I saw a gasket like this on eBay that might have been the correct one for this part, but I tried folding it down, and when it folds down it just doesn't look right, and also it keeps popping back up. You can see if I fold this down, you can see it'll look kind of like that, but that still doesn't look like what that looks like. So I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with this gasket, or if I have it flipped around the wrong way, or I've tried flipping it around different directions and I can't seem to get it to look right. So I'm not sure what's up with that. But either way, I did get this all cleaned out. I mean, there's some dust here, but you know, that's not too big of a deal. I got it mostly clean. So now we'll put this thing back together and see if this thing runs. Which it should. It better, for how much I paid for it. So it's going to run, and it better run. But we'll see how good it runs. Well, I saw some dust in here, and I decided to try to blow it out of this little headlight cover, and all the dust flew in my face. So that's not good. The belt is pretty stretched, so, and that doesn't look like the right kind of belt. So we're gonna yank that out of here without breaking anything. Oh, it's kind of stiff on this side. There we go. Probably because there's some debris in here. So we're gonna clean up whatever that is. Okay, maybe we can't get to it. I think this thing's clogged. I might have to grab a different machine to clean this whole thing out, but we'll get that real quick. Alright, so I cleaned all this up a little bit, and I retorqued some of the screws, so now this isn't leaning back like it was. Just a little bit. This is the old belt. Has the markings. I don't know why it won't focus on that. Don't understand why it's not focusing. It has 73108, and that is obviously the wrong belt. It's pretty loose on the brush roller. I will say this brush roll is in immaculate condition. The bristles still feel pretty good, but more importantly, or I should say, at least more importantly in terms of it actually functioning, even if it doesn't clean as good because of the worn bristles, it spins perfectly. Obviously this is detached, but it spins beautifully, and I haven't even done any work to it yet, but I will. I did clean up the end caps and everything, and the brush roll, make sure nothing's on it, and I will drop a drop of oil on either side of this, and it should run perfectly, and it shouldn't have any issues. So, as usual, Dirt Devil 4.5 belt, and this thing should be well taken care of. So, this, oh crap, where's the headlight bulb? Oh, there it is. So, there's that. Doesn't appear to have anything wrong with it, but I haven't turned the machine on, so I can't 100% confirm if that's working good or not. But, make sure the connection is free of anything. And now we just put this thing back together and see if we can get it up and running.